Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to talk about measurement units in CSS. So what are measurement units? So in real world, we have units that we use to measure, such as we have physical measurements, such as centimeters, we have millimeters. If you want to measure something, you take a scale, you take a tape, and you measure it. So in the technological world, in CSS, in web development, creating websites, web applications, we also have form of measurement. So in CSS, basically, we have measurement that is used to give to the element so that it tells the element how much space, how much width, height it has to acquire. Okay, there are many properties that use CSS units, such as margin, padding, border. You have font size and many other properties that use length. Okay, so if you're starting web development, you're moving from developer to developer, you're following different developers, so different developers use different units in the video, and at the end you're confused which unit you should use, because you get familiar to one unit and then you follow some other developer who is using some other unit. So in this video we're going to see all of these units, such as pixels, em, rem, percentage, etc. So let's see these units one by one. So basically there are two types of measurement. The first one that we have is absolute measurement, and the second one that we have is relative measurement. So first, what is absolute measurement? So absolute measurement means something that once the size for a particular element is set, it will remain the same for every screen size. It won't change no matter what. Now this is just a theory part for you to understand. We are going to see the practical part also. So I just want you to remember quickly what all of them do. Write down these points if you want, if you wanted to remember it easily when we try the code part. Okay, so even if we are on a smaller screen size, the font will not change if you are using absolute measurement. So once you've given it a value, it will stay the same no matter which device you're using, no matter how big or your small your font is and everything. Okay, if someone is using a bigger font, now you know in Chrome you can change the font size. Okay, so if someone is using a bigger font, it won't matter. The font won't become big. Okay, and if someone is using a smaller font, then also it won't matter. Once you have given a particular size to it, it will stay the same. Okay, and this type of measurements are not really good for responsive design, which means that when you're using, suppose you're developing a website that looks good on a laptop, but you have used absolute measurement, so that website would not work the same on your mobile screen because the fonts are absolute. They are not helpful in responsive design. Okay, a few example of this fonts will be, you can see pixels, centimeters, millimeters, and we'll cover all of the topics. Then the second type of measurement units that we have are relative measurements. Okay, they are very helpful for responsive design. They work according or relative to their parent element or the screen size. And particularly for relative measurements, the parent element is their screen size. Okay, so whatever screen size you're using, relative measurements work according to that. Okay, now let's get back to our code editor. Alright, so here we have an HTML file and we also have a CSS file, but we're not going to use a CSS file because it's too much to switch back and forth again and again. So we're just going to write styles here itself. So now the first type of measurement that we saw were absolute measurement. So what are absolute measurements? Okay, absolute measurement is fixed. Once the font size is set, it won't change no matter what screen size you're using, what screen you're using. If the text is smaller, bigger, font size is smaller, bigger, it does not matter. Okay, so we have absolute measurements over here. Let's give it a heading. Now the first absolute measurement that we have is called as pixels. So what is pixels? So pixel is one point on the screen which you are seeing. You might have seen many developers websites, when they teach you HTML, CSS, when you're a beginner, they start with pixels. It is a measurement unit, of course, we are seeing measurement unit, but this measurements unit is good if you're learning as a beginner, but as you move forward, this measurement unit is not good. Okay, so let's just write this unit is, let's say, pixels. Okay, and let's just style it over here itself. So we'll do style and then we'll write font size, and here let's write 16 pixels. So if I write 16 pixels, you can see over here that the font does not change really. because 16 pixels is the normal value given to this p tag. So the p tag has the minimum value, default value of 16 pixels. Okay, so that is why it did not change. Okay, now this is pixels. Now the second unit that we have, so let's just increase the size a little bit. Okay, the second one that we have, let's write it a few times. The second one that we have is called as inches. Let it be like this. We'll write one by one. So second one is called as inches. So inches is similar. It is physical measurement that we have inches. It is similar to that. The only difference is, let's write it. We write it 1 in. To write inches, we use in. So here you can see, even if we have used a smaller value such as 1 inch, it looks so big. That is because 1 inch is equal to 96 pixels. Okay, imagine this, 1 pixel, 1 inch is equal to 96 pixels. Okay, so let's change it to a smaller value such as let's say 0.3. Okay, even 0.3, such a small value, is bigger than 16 pixels. Okay, the next one that we have over here is called as centimeters. Okay, we'll just write centimeters over here, and here also we'll change, let's say 1 centimeter, and let's save it. You can see 1 centimeter is again bigger than 16 pixels and also bigger than this 0.3 inches. Okay, because 1 centimeter is equal to 37.8 pixels. Okay, 1 centimeter, again I'm telling, write down this, 1 centimeter is equal to 37.8 pixels. There's nothing much to explain because these are the commonly used measurement units that we already know. Okay, so I'm not going to focus more on them. And the next one that we have is called as millimeters. Okay, we already know about millimeters also, and to write millimeters we used instead of cm, we use millimeters. So you can see 1 millimeter is quite small, so we'll just change it to around 5 millimeters, which will be around more than 16 pixels, because 1 millimeter is equal to 3.87 pixels. Okay, let me just write it here itself. 1 inch is equal to 96 pixels, and 1 centimeter is equal to, let's say 37, let's say not, it's 37.8 pixels, and then 1 millimeter is equal to 3.78 pixels. Now you can see it's also easier to remember. So these are the 4 that we saw. Now the next one that we have is called as point. Okay, so what is point? So a point is also a physical measurement. So if you tell someone to draw a point or do a point, so what they'll do is they'll take a dot and draw a dot. So here in screen also everything is a point. So point is not used that much by any developer. It is widely used in print media. So what does print media means? So when you have printers and anything that gives you output, a printing, so that is print media, and in that points are used as unit. Okay, you can also use it in screen media. Screen media means what you're using on your phone, laptop and all that as screen media. So you can write that, you can use point by typing PT. Okay, PT stands for point. So 1 point is equal to 1/72th part of an inch. Okay, you can see 1/72th part of an inch. Okay, that is what is point. Okay, so let's change it to something bigger. So let's say 10 points. Okay, so let's even make it even bigger so you guys can notice. Yeah, and the last point that we have in the absolute measurement is called as pica. Okay, it's called as pica, P-I-C-A. So you can say pica. Okay, and to write that we can use simple PC. So here you can see 15 pica is very big because 1 pica is equal to 12 points. 1 pica is equal to 12 points, and 1 point is 1/72th part of an inch. So let's change it to something a little bit smaller. Let's say 10 PC. Still it's very big, so let's change it to 1 PC. Let's see how big 1 PC is. So you can see 1 pica is quite big. Developers also use this pica. I've seen developers using this pica. So what I was talking about is, now let's try to increase the screen size. I'm increasing the screen size, but you can see that the text is taking the same amount of space. The text is not changing at all. Even if I reach a point where my screen is a lot shorter, this is the phone screen, still my text is the same itself. Okay, it is not changing, it is not responsive at all. So this is what Absolute, once you have set their font size, once you have given them in length, they are not going to change it no matter what. Okay, let's change the what we can say font size over here. So I'll just search for font size, and now it is medium. So now let's make it very small. Okay, this is very small. You can see there's no change at all. Everything will change, but this will not change. Okay, now let's try and make it very large. Okay, again this will not change at all. Let's make it medium again. Okay, so all of this has no effect on Absolute measurements. All right, now let's see the next part. So again, what I'll do is I'll create a new file over here. So I'll just call this relative.html. I'll do that part in that code. Okay, so now you just write the boilerplate code over here, and I'll write relative over here. Now moving on to the relative part. So what was relative? It changes according to the screen size, and it is dependent upon the parent element. Okay, so very firstly in relative design, what we have is called as percentage. So you might have seen that many developers use percentage. So what is a percentage? So it is a relative value that depends on any other value. It checks the length of the parent. In this case, the parent is the screen size, and then applies the changes. So let me just open this with live server real quick. Okay, and here we'll use this paragraph, and let's write this unit is percentage. Okay, and let's go here. I'll add the style, we'll add font size, and we'll write 10%. Okay, so now keep in mind our screen is 100%, and of that 100% it will use only the 10%. And if you write 100%, it is equal to 16 pixels. 100% means the default value. It is a 16%. Now, if I decrease this, it will increase or decrease. It is a responsive font type that we have. Okay. It changes according to the screen size that we have used. It comes in handy. It might not look very, what we can say, relative right now, but when you're using images and divs and blocks which has background color and something, and it has, when you add percentages, when your screen size increases and decreases, this matters the most. Okay, percentage. Now moving on, next one that we have is called as EM. Okay, now let's just change it to 1 EM. Actually, you know what, let's use a different example for this one. I'm just going to write this code first, and then I'm going to explain you what it actually is. So I'll just add a div over here, and inside this I'll add a p tag that says this unit is EM. Okay, and now before moving forward, I'll add style. Let's say width. What we'll add? Let's add margin. Let's add a margin of 5 EM to this div. So you can see it shifts right here, and we'll go inside this style tag, and again what we'll do is we'll add margin, and let's add a margin of 2 EM. So you can see it shifts even more. So in this if, it is a font size. This is generally used with font size EM. So it is a font size of an element, and it's relative to the element it is contained in. Okay, for example, we saw here div which has a margin of 5 rem, and then we added another p tag, we added another margin of 2 rem to it. So if you check out your inspect element right now, let's make it full screen. If you check this inspect element, the screen size is smaller, so let's make it bigger. Make it large. Let's see. Yeah, Now it is okay. So here if you check out this div, let's check out this div inside the body part. So we have div, and here if you check out this div, and inside this, if you have, we open this up, we have this p tag. So if you check the margin that we have, it is 40. So what is it, 40? But if you check out what the margin it actually has, it will have 5 EM plus 2 EM. So total it will have 7 EM of margin. Okay, 5 plus 2. So 5 will be of the parent container it is in, and 2 will be of the div container that it is in. Okay, so you can see that much, that is how EM works. Okay, so again let's just shift it over here and we'll continue with this. Okay, now this is EM. Now the next one that we have is called as REM. So it is one step better than the EM. REM, in this REM, R stands for root. So the root is actually the screen size or the complete HTML page. So it will change according to the parent element, which is the screen size. Okay, so this is what I prefer to use. Okay, and this is one of my favorite font size to use because it is very helpful in responsive web designs. Okay, so I'll just change it to 1 rem. Okay, now I'll save it. 1 rem is that much. Let's try 2 rem. Okay, this is 2 rem. And if you decrease or increase the size, now when you're using a responsive designing, this will change, this will be affected. Now again, if like this also we try to do it, you can see REM is better because for this REM, this whole screen is the parent element. Okay, it works according to this, and if you try to put it in any other element also like EM, it will work fine also. It is better option than EMs, I suggest. The next one that we have is called as VH. Now this is not commonly used for font sizes or margin or padding or anything else. It is rather used for images when you have to cover this whole view height or viewport. Okay, something images, blocks, or something that you have that you want the user to notice more, that is when you use this. But it is a measurement unit, so let's cover that also. So what we'll do is, again, we have two, VH and VM, VH and VW. So VW and VH. So here V stands for viewport and W stands for width. Again, viewport and height. So VW means viewport width. Okay, and 1% or 1 VW means 1% of this whole viewport. Okay, so if I write 1 VH over here, you can see this is very small because this is 1% of the complete view height. Viewport height, whatever we have, it is just 1% of that. Okay, if I write 100 VH, you can see it will cover the entire, you can see it covers the entire viewport height, that is 100. Okay, viewport means now this complete screen, this height that is visible to us is 100 VH. Okay, this is the viewport height. Viewport means whatever you're seeing on the screen right now. So we'll do 10 VH over here. Sorry, 10 VH. And then VW, that is viewport width. Okay, let's change it to 10 VW, and you can see that now it is bigger in width. Okay, so as height is this this way, and then width is covered like this. Okay, so generally you use this with images and blocks when you want to cover the entire screen. Okay, now the next one that we have is vmin. So let's see what vmin is. So we just remove this, we'll write vmin and we'll change it to let's say 5 vmin. Okay, this is 5 vmin. Now what is vmin and what is this? So this value will be whichever one is smaller among VH or VW. Let's say if our viewport height is less than our width, so the 1 vmin is equal to 1 VH. Do you get it? So let's say our width of the screen is bigger than our height. So let's say our width is something like this, and our height is a little lot smaller. So our height is this much. So in this case, you can see our view width has increased, our view height has decreased, but Vmin, for this case, when your width is bigger and your height is smaller, your one Vmin is equal to one Vw. So whichever is smaller among Vw or Vh, that Vmin will choose. Okay, and in the same way, we have one more, such as Vmax. So let's say 5 Vmax. Okay, and what is Vmax is, it chooses the greater value among the both of them. Now in this case, if we have Vmax, suppose our height is bigger than our viewport width. Okay, so if our height is bigger than our width is less and our height is more. So in this case, you can see here, so whichever one is bigger, that one will be chosen. Okay, you can see VH and VW, how responsive they are. So if I increase the width here, VW increases. If I increase the height here, VH increases, and so does Vmax. Okay, because height is bigger than width. And if I increase the width, here also Vmin will increase and VW will increase. Whichever one is smaller, it will count that. Okay, so these were the few relative units that we have. Now let's check that by increasing our font size and all that, what happens. So it'll make it very small now. So you can see a percentage, it has changed. Our EM has decreased, our RAM has not decreased, because it is respect to the screen that we are using. The screen size that we are using, it changes according to that. Okay, our VW and VH is also affected when we use small, that font size smaller. So let's increase it to very large. Now if you do very large, again this is back to normal. This is what it was before with the div, because div is the parent element. RAM has increased, our viewport height, viewport width, viewport height, both of them have also increased. Okay, so in absolute measurement, we saw pixels, we saw inches, centimeters, millimeters, points and pica. And then in relative measurement, we saw pixels, percentage, EM, RAM, viewport height, viewport width, Vmin and Vmax. So again, the question arises, which one should you use? So let's take an example. If you're developing a website on a laptop, so you can see this text is very big right now. And if you're using absolute measurement, if you're giving this value using pixels, so this text will not change in your phone also. This will be this big also, and it won't fit user's phone screen. So they'll have a tough time going through your website. So you should use fonts units such as percentage, RAM, VW, VH, which will make your website more responsive. Otherwise, what you'll have to do is, you'll have to create different websites for your phone, different website for your laptop using different font sizes, and then you'll have to upload both of them to the server. And your server will consume more space. Your cloud will require more space. Even a little bit of code that you have increased will increase the code complexity, and also increase the time processing, because it will have to fetch different file for laptop every time and different file for mobile. It will have to send a different request every time. So it will consume your space, time and also money, because the cloud server requires a lot of money even if you have to increase a little bit of space. So you should always try to minimize the code that you have to write, okay, in order to get what you want. Okay, so I suggest that you should always use relative measurement units such as percentages, REMs, and what else that you can use to make your website responsive. Now you can also use media queries to make it responsive, but again, that is a lot of code that you have to write extra when you can do the same work with all of these units that I have taught in this video. Okay, now let's change this settings back to normals. Let's see if it is affected anymore now. So we'll go to search, font size, and now let's make it medium. So again, this is medium now. Okay, so guys, I hope you understand what I was trying to tell you in this video. If at any moment or any part you have not understood any concept, make sure you write it in the comment section. I'll try to explain it to you again, and I'll link an article where you can read all of this, understand all of this very, very clearly. And if you guys have any suggestion for me throughout the video, if you found any point that I was not talking about, or if you have any suggestion that how I can improve myself, make sure you comment that in the comment section as well. If you have learned something from this video, make sure you like my video, subscribe to my channel so I can keep making amazing videos for you guys. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.